Hi, Nathi. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited that you've actually decided to do this for me. And
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome. So I've got a whole bunch of students that I lecture to, and I'm trying to get them to understand more about what it's like to have a disability, what school was like, how we can improve schools and teaching, that kind of stuff. And I also want to show them how people with disabilities are like everybody else, and that we have wonderful potential. And I think you're a great example of that. So I'm so glad you've decided to do this interview with me.
No, thank you.
So to start with, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Nkosinathi, and I am a freelance graphic designer, cartoonist, and illustrator. Outside of my job, I like to play video games. A lot of people don't know this, but I am a video game addict.
What's your favorite game?
Well, I'm currently playing a game called The Last of Us Part 2 on the PlayStation 4. And yes, I worked at the Citizen News in Johannesburg for 3 years as a cartoonist and an infographic artist. I then resigned in 2018 to focus on becoming a freelance artist, rather, because I realized that with the work environment, the office environment wasn't my scene. And so I just decided that if I, work for myself, I will then enjoy what I do even more, and my creativity will not be limited.
Awesome. So just on the topic of your work, you've had a lot of success recently with your children's book. Would you like to tell us a little more about that?
Yes. Well, I've recently written a children's book called Duma Says, Wash Your Hands, Wear a Mask. I must say, though, the expectation has really, exceeded my expectation, the support that I've been getting for the book. The first thing I noticed was the book being featured into the coronavirus, SA coronavirus.co.za, a government website, which was, I felt like I was dreaming. And then the next thing, the book was tweeted by the Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize. That's, I don't know, that just, I was so overwhelmed, and I was so happy about that. And yes, so this book has been getting a lot of positive feedback, and it's also been added into the New York City education system for children to access if they're looking for resources on COVID-19. And so it's really been crazy. Like the success, like I'm clearly not ready. I wasn't ready for it.
It's amazing, hey?
It's crazy. I
Well
really wasn't ready.
You know, we are so proud of you. I keep going, that's one of my boys.
No, thank you so much. It's just that when what inspired me to write the book was I felt that since there are a lot of lovely children's books in South Africa, but I felt that we were missing. There wasn't enough material for learning material for children, especially those who are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds. So I felt that it was my responsibility, because I also grew up around an informal settlement during my schooling years, and I felt that it was my responsibility to showcase what it would be like for a child to navigate COVID-19 in cramped housing. So when I wrote this book, I just thought, okay, it was going to just be a book, and but the way it has exploded, I'm even right now, I'm lost for it. I'm still trying to recover from this success. I've also recently been interviewed by Al Jazeera
Wow.
about the book as well.
Cool.
And I was 2 weeks ago. I was on ENCA as well, talking about the book. I've been on 702 on a radio station, and Soweto TV as well. So I don't know. I think more interviews are still coming, but
That is
I'm
just
just,
so
you
awesome.
know, it's just been a crazy few weeks, and I'm still trying to make sense of all of this, and I'm really, really grateful for the support I've been getting for the book.
That's wonderful. Okay, so bringing you back to now what I kind of need to do. Would
Okay.
you mind telling us a little bit about your disability?
Well, I have a disability called microphthalmia, which is an eye abnormality that develops before birth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my left eye is underdeveloped, completely blind. So that left my seeing eye to have visual impairment. But I must say though, I've had a lot of support during my life with my disability, especially. My parents have really supported me and made sure that I was as comfortable as possible. My school supported me and made sure I was comfortable as possible. So yeah, I'm living with it, but it's who I am. Well, it's not really, the disability is not who I am, but I'm living with it, and it just made me the unique person that I think I am.
Absolutely. And, I absolutely love that you went into art even with a visual disability. I think that is brilliant.
Yes, that actually was kind of a funny story because I started drawing at the age of 6, and my friends, I always wondered, why is everybody drawing stick figures? Like, guys, it's so easy to draw Mickey Mouse. It's so easy to draw Donald Duck. So I was really confused as a child because I was short-sighted.
Okay.
And my friends could see very well, but they still couldn't, draw Mickey Mouse the way I drew him. So, it's a gift. I guess it's just a gift from God, because I have no idea how I can draw because I wasn't taught. I just one day as a child, I just lifted a pencil and I just saw myself drawing.
Oh, that's amazing, hey. And I remember you doing the cartoon at school. Yes, you came around and got permission from all of us to be allowed to use us. And that was great fun. Yeah, in fact, I still have my picture you did of me with my bird, which I even used in my lectures at one stage as my picture of myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so yes, made by the famous Nathi. And okay, so tell me, just what were your school experiences like?
Well, I must say, school was one of the best times in my life, actually. I was actually a little popular. Like,
Yeah,
even
you had
though
a big bunch of friends, actually.
Yes, I did. Even though right now I'm a little bit introverted, but back in school I was really, really popular. I was popular with the teachers, with my friends, with the girls, so some girls as well.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the girls. My school experiences, like, I think the main thing that I really loved about school is that everybody just was able to I felt like I was supported, and all of my needs were met. If I had any struggles, those were met. I always sat in front of the class because teachers, they knew that I was short-sighted. So yes, all of my needs were met. I was supported a lot. A lot of teachers pushed me towards my passion for drawing, and which even today I'm very grateful for. Yes, I had like some of the best times of my life during school.
You were very, very fortunate.
I was
Okay,
very fortunate.
yeah. Tell me, what would, if a teacher hadn't known you and you had to have a teacher for the first time, what would you have liked them to know about you to understand you better?
Well, the first thing I would have liked it to have my disability acknowledged, obviously, to because that is like the center of who I am. I feel like as soon as someone acknowledges and understands that I have, this problem or this issue, then the better. Then whatever else comes after that, it doesn't really matter. But the most important thing is definitely the disability. Yeah.
I like what you said there, that it should be acknowledged, because it's important, I think, that we have things out in the open, and that we don't regard things like that as the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Okay, so was there anything that you wish your teachers would have done when they were teaching you?
I actually wish that, because unfortunately there wasn't art taught in my school. And
oh no.
I wish that there was. Yeah, I wish that there was art. I wish that I learned the history of art. But fortunate enough, we had a small library, and there were some interesting books. Just pick up at the library and teach myself and read. Satisfy my curiosity for art. But I feel that if it was a subject, though, it would have been I would have been really, really fortunate for that as well. So yeah, that's actually my only issue. Yeah. There was no art in school. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think helped to support you most?
What really supported me most was, my teachers encouraging me to do what I love, even though I drew between classes, and some teachers were, like, hey, why are you drawing? I'm teaching English here, so you're busy scribbling. But even though I was still supported by my teachers, because if I can talk about Mrs. Van Wyk, because she, in my matric year, she actually took me to meet her old friend, who is actually a cartoonist himself.
Oh, cool.
His name is Andy Mason.
Okay.
His name is Andy Mason, and he lives in Cape Town. And Mrs. Van Wyk in 2011 took me to Andy Mason. He was launching his book in Glenwood.
Okay.
And she introduced me to Andy Mason, and Andy Mason gave me advice on cartooning. And that's just made my passion grow even more, because the support that I've gotten from teachers with regard to what I'm doing now, my art has really helped me in life. Actually, it made me really realize that I just have an amazing bunch of people around me. My parents also supported me throughout my my life in what I do, and to be supported at home and at school is a great privilege to have. A lot of people don't have that privilege, and I've been really fortunate that the teachers have supported me in my school.
Okay, so all right, so I'm going to turn the next question around a little bit. I was going to say to you, how could your school experiences have been improved? But it doesn't sound too much like it could have been improved that much more, except for maybe art to the school. But I'm not sure what your experiences are. Were you in a mainstream school at all?
Before Open A, yes. I actually, the first time I joined Open A was in 1998 or 7. I can't remember. I was a child, basically.
You must be very little, because that was before I was even there.
Yes. So I was in a primary school or preschool. I can't quite remember. But I remember the treatment just being absolutely horrible. Getting teased by children, even by teachers as well, not being understood by teachers. And as soon as I joined open air school, I immediately felt like I belonged and I was home, and like everybody understood me.
I must,
And
yeah.
no, sorry,
I was going
go
to
ahead.
say, I must say that even though it's a special needs school, it's probably the most inclusive school I've ever come across.
Definitely,
Yeah.
it was very, very inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
It was just full of life. Like I I went from being in a dead environment
Mm-hmm.
with dead teachers to just you know entering the gates of this place, this
Yeah.
heaven, heaven of a place
It's
full of
amazing the
life.
difference that attitude can make,
It,
and
you know,
atmosphere. Mm.
definitely, attitude goes a long way. And for a child,
Mm-hmm.
attitude can also can really go a long way, because your attitude towards a child can determine how their self-esteem will be like when they enter their teenage years, or when they enter their 20s. So it's just been an amazing experience being in a special needs school.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you know, but I'm very big on inclusive education, which is pretty
Mm,
much taking the old system of education, kind of turning it on its head a bit. The whole idea is that we don't want children to have to leave their homes and to have to go and stay in a hostel or somewhere else, away from their families, and come out of
mm,
their home community. Because the other problem is that
mm.
once they get out of school, then often they struggle when they have to manage in general society. I don't know if you have any of those experiences when you went, I think you went to DUT.
Yes.
I don't know how you found the transition between being in a special needs environment to being in a mainstream environment as such.
Yeah, it was a major change, actually,
Mm-hmm.
because it made me realize that, wow, this is the real world now.
Mm-hmm.
I was in an environment where people were about their business, like
Mm-hmm.
everybody was just rushing off, and
Mm-hmm.
lecturers didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, didn't really care what your needs were, or if you have special needs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was your responsibility, and I quickly realized this. It was your responsibility. If you wanted to make enlarged copies for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
if you were given worksheets, then you must go and do it yourself.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to see better,
Mm-hmm.
you needed to take the initiative of actually, arriving 2 minutes early
Mm-hmm.
in the lecture room, so you can,
Yeah.
get your spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I quickly adapted. I immediately
Yeah.
adapted into it. Same with the working
Yeah.
environment as well. When I left DUT to the working environment, the
Mm-hmm.
working environment was even worse
Yeah.
than than DUT. But like what I had gotten used to at DUT also helped me to get used to
Mm-hmm.
when I started working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like when if I had issues with my disability, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe uh, I need like a few days
Mm-hmm.
because my eyes were straining,
Mm-hmm.
because the hours were long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then the boss is the boss isn't as understanding, because here it's about the money now.
Yeah.
It's about money. So
Deadlines.
you actually, yes. So you actually need to make a plan for you to quickly get back
Mm-hmm.
to work before you lose your job. So
I,
so
mhm.
so yeah.
I
So
don't know if you
in my
remember
mm,
when you first started at Tech, when you were going to try and register, you actually sent me messages saying, "What do I do? I'm standing in the queue. I
yes,
don't know where
yes,
to go."
yes. Actually, I was standing in the queue, and then I think I was told by my good friend Emmanuel.
Yeah.
He told me that I could speak to a lady who actually who specializes in helping those with special needs
Yeah.
to register, to get their
Mm-hmm.
NSPAS, to
Mm-hmm.
get settled in. So I went from joining a long queue of people
Mm-hmm.
to having a very,
Yeah.
very short queue, because of my disability. And this
Mm-hmm.
was a major advantage, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
That's
just
like when
remember
I have
just
to go
walking.
somewhere with my wheelchair, I like straight to the front.
Yes, and I just remember looking at everybody's face that was standing in that long line of queue. Like, hey guys, I'll see you around.
Yeah,
So that was a major advantage for me for having a disability. I was able to, to skip long queues and
yeah,
get
yeah,
settled in
yeah.
very quickly. Mm.
Okay, so now with inclusive education, the whole idea is we would like for children to be able to attend inclusive schools, but we'd like the
Yes.
inclusive schools to actually have been those mainstream schools to have made suitable adjustments. What would you suggest to a teacher who's in an everyday school? How could
Mm.
they make the schooling experiences for kids with visual impairments to be really great experiences?
I would say for them to actually make an experience for a visually impaired person to be great is to first acknowledge that,
Mm-hmm.
to understand uh, their condition,
Mm-hmm.
and to understand what they need, to ask
Mm-hmm.
questions.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need the sheet to be enlarged?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a magnifying glass?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to sit at the front? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you need? So basically, um, it it's really that really to
Mm-hmm.
just know, to
Yeah.
be aware of the
Mm-hmm.
needs of each and every child
Yeah.
being taught, and disabilities are different. So
Mm.
it's very special to just understand each and every disability, so you can be able to cater for each child individually.
Well, there you go. You've taken the words out of my mouth, hey?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. I must be honest, I mean, I always found from my personal experience that for me to teach kids with visual impairments was really not that complicated.
It's not
I
that
found there was very
complicated.
little that I actually ended up doing. And the whole thing for me was to
Mm,
get the kids to be organized, to be as independent as possible. And yeah, pretty
yes,
much do the things that you've said. And especially when they get older, um, for example, I would say to them, how big do you want your font? Because I know it's not cool to have A4 pages when you've got files, A3
yes,
pages when you've got files. You say, what size do you want your font? And I just print off their notes, size 26 or whatever it was for whoever
yes,
it was. But yeah,
yes, yes.
I found those things to be fairly practical.
No, no, definitely. People living with visual impairment, it's not really, it's not that complicated. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have a lot of needs that are very
Mm-hmm.
complicated. It's just that the most important thing that a person with visual impairment uh, needs is to feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with their reading material, and
Yeah.
to just to feel comfortable in their environment, knowing that uh, all of their needs are met,
Yeah.
even though it's not a lot of needs, but
Mm-hmm.
those
Mm-hmm.
little bit of needs
Yeah.
that are important to them are met.
And you spoke about that. I think you mentioned being teased or being bullied.
Yes.
Um, would you like
Yeah.
to tell us a little bit more about, not about the bullying, but what would you suggest for teachers to be aware of?
Um, I would say that teachers would need to, even if there's no issues of bullying in the class,
Mm-hmm.
but talking about bullying in general,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a child doesn't need to get bullied for a teacher to talk about bullying.
Yeah.
It should just be part of, like, uh, her classes, maybe once a
Mm-hmm.
week.
Maybe there's our next
Just
Duma book.
yes, 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 yes. Actually, actually, yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much for that idea. I'm actually gonna write it down. Um, yes, because I, I feel that in a lot of cases, teachers start talking about bullying when a child has been bullied. Then,
Mm,
the topic arises. But
right.
this should
Mm-hmm.
be just part of, it should be part of the curriculum. Maybe
Yeah.
it should be part of, like, a little lesson, a little 5-minute lesson about bullying,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it just needs to be spoken of, even like more
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if you've got anything else to add, but otherwise, I'm going to say thank you so much for having given us some of your precious, precious time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have one more thing to add, actually.
Yes.
Uh, yes, with since we're talking about visual impairment and we're talking
Mm,
about disabilities,
mm.
Duma says, "Wash your hands, wear a mask." It's currently being translated into Braille as well for
Awesome.
for 20 schools. It'll go to 20 schools of the blind in South Africa.
Oh,
I think
fantastic.
three of them are in Joburg,
Yeah.
I think. But I'm still to find out more information about it.
Okay,
But
that's awesome.
a few days ago, I received a recording of the book, an
Uh-huh.
audio recording of the book uh, for the blind, and I was really happy about it. I ticked it off. I said it's great.
Excellent.
So
Right. Gold star for
I'm
you there.
thank you. No, I'm really like
Mm,
that was a really personal thing for me to have
mm-hmm.
this book to be translated into
Yeah.
Braille. Being
Mm-hmm.
a visually impaired person myself, um, you know, it just made me so happy because now even kids who are blind can also
Mm-hmm.
read the book. Will also read the book,
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
the further the book goes, the better in terms of translations as well. So
Yeah.
I was really happy about
So have you done any translations in other languages?
Yes, currently the book is available in English,
Mm-hmm.
isiZulu, isiXhosa, and Swahili,
Mm-hmm.
and Braille, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But more languages are still coming as well. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, more languages are coming, and I would love for the book to also be translated into the 11 official languages in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, at the moment, I don't have the capacity. I don't have the, I don't have the
Yeah.
funds to pay
Yeah.
translators. But I am hoping that I will get the funds, and I am hoping that everybody will be able to read the book in their own language.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And I am so proud of you. And I will
Thank
continue
you so
to
much.
watch your progress on Facebook, which is how I keep up with all my kids.
Thank you so much, and
And
I'll never forget.
yeah.
Sorry, I'll never forget your choir class. Actually,
Oh my
your
hat.
warming up sessions.
Uh-huh. That was when you were in
I
like
remember.
intermediate phase.
Yes, I think so. I remember Bella Signore.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember.
I had the entire intermediate phase that I was forced to take for choir, whether they could
Yes.
sing or not. I think that the teachers
Mm.
thought that was a great free lesson they were going to get.
Oh man, it was amazing. I really enjoyed your choir lessons,
Oh,
and
good.
I really miss my childhood memories. But I mean, we grow up.
Oh,
We
well,
have
it's
to,
life.
eventually, we have to grow up. We have to, branch off and
Mm-hmm.
leave the nest.
Yeah. All my babies grow
Mm.
up. I don't know if you remember when you must have been about grade 9, I think. I was taking you for computers, and
Mhm.
I can't remember what happened. And you said to me, "You sound just like my mother." And I said, "Yes. And your mother is a wonderful person." You said to me, "Do you know my mother?" I said, "No, we've never met."
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, because the thing is, like my school life and my home life were very identical.
Mm.
Like I equally had um the great time at home, great time at school. I remember when there was actually a taxi strike as well. I
Mm-hmm.
think I was in grade 10 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
I actually walked to school
Wow.
from Mayville,
Mm-hmm.
Katamena, to Glenwood.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally walked to school,
Mm-hmm.
and Miss Smith had to had to take me home. Actually,
Oh, so that's gorgeous, eh?
I'll never forget that. She actually was like, "Oh, how did you get here?" Like, "Oh, I walked." No, no, no. I'll take you home, and she took me home, and
Yeah.
I loved school.
Mm,
Um, I don't remember missing unless I was really sick, but I
mm,
don't remember missing a
yeah.
day at school.
Yeah.
That's how much I loved, being in the school environment. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Okay. Well, thanks so much for reminiscing a bit with me. I
it.
still
No,
miss
it's
being in the classroom
awesome.
in some ways, but I now have my new
Mm,
kids who I suppose I see the ones who are at varsity. So, yeah. And I have my kids at
okay.
home. But yeah. But yes, it's so
Oh
good to
no,
see how well
you're
you are
very brave.
doing. And yeah, we are so
Thank
proud of you. I just have to keep saying it. so you know. And thanks so
All right,
much,
thank you
hey.
so much. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you. Sorry.
yeah.
One more thing as well.
Mm,
The My book is available for people who want to buy the paperback
okay,
version. It's available in at Ike's Books in Durban.
okay.
Um, and all of the proceeds will go to the open air school.
Oh, that's awesome. Is it
Um,
available around the
yeah,
country?
like all of the yeah.
Because this video, by the way, is going to people all over the country.
Currently the oh, okay. No, unfortunately, it's only available in two places right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.com for
Okay.
international buyers
Yeah.
and Ike's Books if you're in Durban.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, from Ike's Books, all of the proceeds will go to the special needs school, the open air school.
You are such a star. Well done. Thanks, hey.
Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time reminiscing. It's
Mm-hmm.
been ages, and you look lovely, by the way.
Well, thank you. Just older. Okay.
Doesn't look like it at all. Like
Oh,
you're
thanks,
getting
Nathi.
younger and
You're a
younger.
keeper.